Hello out there, you're watching everything you need to know about Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game. This is part 2, and as you can see we have everything set up for a skirmish between two TIE fighters and an X-Wing. The X-Wing is here on the Rebel side of the play area. We have two TIE fighters set right there. They already have their ship tokens on their bases, so we know which is which. We don't need to put any ID tokens on them. Their player cards are there. They have stress tokens and critical tokens in case they need to reflect that damage. They also have focus and evade in case they decide to use that as their action. Both their maneuver dials are right there. Here in the neutral area we have the damage deck. These cards will be dealt face down with the starburst showing, which indicates that one damage has been done to their hull. Now both these TIE fighters are going to have 3 hull for each of their ships. The X-Wing is going to have 3 hull, but he's also going to have 2 shields, and we have 2 shield tokens right there which can be discarded should the X-Wing take damage. His maneuver dial is right there, his target lock and his focus. He's got critical damage and stress there in case he needs it, and his upgrade cards. Over here we have the maneuver templates. Now a lot of these are going to be the same speed, which basically means the same length. But they're going to be in different shapes. So let's try to find all 3 of the shapes. As you can see, this is a 45-degree bank, 45-degree bank, and this is here's a perfect example. This is a 90-degree turn. So the important thing to remember is that these templates are consistent length, and just a little tip, you might practice holding these in your hands and putting them between your fingers. You put the fingers of one hand here and the fingers of the other hand up there, so you can kind of gauge the distance and get comfortable with how far apart it is, because one of the rules is when you reveal your maneuver dial, or rather when you're planning your maneuver, you can't put one of these down to see where your ship would end up. You need to have an idea in your head. If there's a collision, if this ship were to make its maneuver and run into an asteroid or another ship, that's too bad. He has to move back and he loses his action. If he hits an asteroid, he could actually take damage. So practice, practice, practice. Learn the length, the shape of these maneuver templates, get to know them so that you can make your move and have a pretty good idea where you're going to end up. That's very important. But anyway, these templates are right here. This is the range ruler. For the Rebel player, it's going to be red side up like this. You're going to search and see if another ship is in range. If the TIE fighter was closer, here we have Maul or Mythal. And if you take this range ruler like this, you're going to go to the closest part of the X-Wing to the closest part of the TIE fighter. And you're going to see that that falls within range 3. If you were to get to a point where it could go either way, 2 or 3, again, you're going to go with the shortest distance. So that might mean you have to pick it up, but the closest part of the base to the TIE fighter, the closest part of the base to the X-Wing, whatever distance that is, that's going to be the range. Remember, in a distance of range 3, the defender is going to roll an extra green die. In the attack from range 1, the attacker is going to roll an extra red die. Again, it's not a bad idea to get a second core set for a lot of reasons. Getting a second core set would give you a 3rd and a 4th TIE fighter and a 2nd X-Wing. It would also give you more dice. You don't have to roll the same dice. You'd also get another range ruler and more maneuver templates. Looking at the maneuver dial, as I explained in the last video, different maneuvers are going to give you red maneuvers, white maneuvers, or green maneuvers. Remember that red maneuvers add stress. When a pilot is stressed, it can't perform another red maneuver, nor can it take an action. If it's a green maneuver, it relieves the stress, and if it's a white maneuver, it neither adds nor relieves stress. And what I recommend doing also, and this sounds kind of crazy, is carry this around in your pocket with you and look at it like it's a stopwatch. Just pull it out and just learn it. Don't memorize it, don't study it, just look at it. Look at each ship, because eventually you'll be collecting up to a dozen different ships and they're going to have different templates. It's good to just get familiar with this. That way when you're planning your move, you already know A, what moves the ship can make, B, if that move is an a red, green, or white maneuver, and number 3, you'll know if you need to use that maneuver template in your head. If you can decide where it's going to end up, you just mentally calculate, okay, this is going to go forward 3. What you're going to do is, since we know that the number 3 template is 3 times the length of the ship base, you're going to pick this up. You're going to move it forward. You're going to do this in your head, the length of the base. And then you're going to go forward 1, 2, 3. And when you put it down, you put this back, that should be about the distance from where it started. And that also works, by the way, when you're turning at a 45-degree angle or when you're turning at a 90-degree angle. You can kind of see that the ship it's gonna move 3 times. The inside of the base is gonna stay put. The outside is gonna have to make that outer swing. So you can kind of, if you practice, get a good idea when you do a turn 3 of where you're gonna end up. Okay, and that's just something that comes with a little bit of experience, but it really gives you a bit of an edge against your opponent who may not have that knowledge. There is obviously dice rolling in this game, and when you go into combat, you're going to roll, let's say this is a range 2. The rebel rolls and gets a hit and a crit, and oh look, he has a focus token. We'll say that for his action this turn he had the focus right here, so he's going to discard that. He now gets to manipulate the dice that he rolled. This one that has the eyeball, he can re-roll it, and now it's a crit. Okay, the TIE Fighter gets to roll 2, and we'll say for his action he would have had to have already done this. He has an evade there. Okay, so he's going to roll 2. Oh, and he gets blinks. That's bad. So he's going to spend the evade. He has 2 crits that he'd like to use this evade to cancel, but he has a hit, and he has to take care of the hit first. So the hit gets canceled because of the evade, but these 2 crits still happen. So we're going to draw the top 2 cards from the damage deck, and it's damage sensor array and thrust control fire. 2 critical effects that are going to hurt the ship, not the pilot. We see this is Mauler Mythal, so we find his card up here, and the critical damage is going to affect him. So he has a hull of 3. He has 2 critical damage. If he gets 1 more critical damage, his ship blows up. Make sure that you assign the right damage to the right ship and the right pilot. These maneuver dials, you're going to do this in your planning phase. You're going to secretly select where you're going to go, and you're going to put this face down by your ship. The rebel player does the same thing. And you put this down here, and then you're going to go in order of initiative. Initiative is determined by a player's pilot skill. So this X-Wing is Luke Skywalker, who has a PS8. This TIE Fighter is Mauler Mythal, who has a PS7. So he's going to go first. Okay, he would reveal his maneuver dial. He would make his move. So whatever this said, he gets the appropriate template, and he moves there. And then he chooses an action, which for the TIE Fighter is either going to be putting a focus token next to a ship, or an evade token next to a ship, or a barrel roll. A barrel roll move very simply means he's going to take the 1 template like so, and it's going to give him a bit of an extra move. He's going to move horizontally, whichever one left and right is. He's going to go that way, and that's going to give him a bit of extra movement, because you see, you're trying to stay out of the other ship's firing arc. Now, granted, he just moved directly into the X-Wing's firing arc, but I didn't say he was very smart. That's just a move that you can do to try to get out of the way, if you want to. It's something the TIE Fighters can do, the X-Wings can't. TIE Fighters have better evasive abilities, and they fly better. X-Wings are just tanks. They really deal out damage. They're good in combat. They're not so good to move. And you can see that if you look at the various options they have. You can see that the TIE Fighter can turn at a speed of 1, whereas the X-Wing can only bank. A TIE Fighter can make a bank at a speed of 2 and can go forward 3, and that's a green maneuver, and can go 5. The X-Wing can't go 5, and those other green maneuvers are white maneuvers for them. So that's basically it. Once the activation phase is done, where the ships have moved, they've taken their action, then combat begins. Now we're starting with the higher pilot skill and going down, and you just saw what happens. You roll red dice per your primary attack strength. You modify those dice by spending your focus, your target locks, any special abilities you have here on these upgrade cards. You're going to do that, and then the opponent gets a chance to respond by spending evade tokens, focus tokens, and rolling green dice, modifying those, and then comparing the results. Any hits or crits that are uncancelled deal with damage. Damage is dealt face down for hits, face up for crits. If it's a direct hit, it counts twice. When your hull is completely gone, your ship explodes. And that continues until one side has no opponents left. That's pretty much all I have. We're going to look real quickly at the pilots themselves, just so we can see who we have here. The pilots, let's get the generic ones first. We have Academy Pilot. Again, the TIE Fighter does 2 red dice when it attacks, 3 green dice when it defends, has 3 hull, which can be blown up. This has a pilot skill of 1. TIE Fighter Pilot can also focus, barrel roll, or evade. Has a pilot skill of 12. We have another Academy Pilot. We have Black Squadron Pilot, who has a cost of 14 and a PS4. Another Black Squadron Pilot. And for the Rebels, we have Red Squadron Pilot and Rookie Pilot. PS4 and a PS2 respectively. And they have upgrades available, namely a torpedo and an astromech, which is usually an R2 or an R5 unit. Our named people, and I apologize if this guy is from the TIE Fighter expansion, because I'm not 100% sure which is which. We have Dark Curse. When defending, ships attacking you cannot spend focus tokens or reroll attack dice. He has PS6. We have Howl Runner. I'm pretty sure Howl Runner comes from the expansion. PS8. When another friendly ship at range 1 is attacking with its primary weapon, it may reroll 1 attack die. That's a great ability. Night Beast. After executing a green maneuver, you may perform a free focus action. And finally, Mauler Mythal. When attacking at range 1, roll 1 additional attack die. That's a great ability right there. He has a cost of 17. Over here we have Luke Skywalker, who has a PS8. His ability is when defending, you may change one of your focus results to an evade result. That's good. Costs 28 points. And we have Biggs Darklighter, his old friend from Tatooine. He didn't need a permission slip to join the Academy. A PS5, costs 25. Other friendly ships at range 1 cannot be targeted by attacks if the attacker could target you instead. I mentioned earlier that Proton Torpedoes is the torpedo upgrade available with this set. It's going to cost you a target lock, so you have to put a target lock on a ship. It's going to be your attack for the turn, but you get to roll 4 red dice. You can attack somebody at range 2 or 3, and you may change one of your focus results to a crit result. That's really good. The astromechs that you get are R2-F2. Due to illness, he plays R2-D2. He's unique. For 1 action, you can increase your agility value by 1 until the end of the game round. Just means that you would roll an extra green die that round. He costs 3 points. And of course, R2-D2, who's unique, costs 4 points. After executing a green maneuver, you may recover 1 shield up to your shield value. Our elite talents are Determination, which costs 1 point. When you're dealt a face-up damage card with a pilot trait, discard it immediately without resolving its effects. You can get out of crit damage for free, possibly. And Marksmanship. For 1 action, when attacking this round, you may change one of your focus results to a crit, and your other results to a hit. So that's what's included in the core set. We're going to be talking next about the X-Wing expansion, but hopefully you're already intrigued about this game. You really, really should get it. Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures is an incredible product from Fantasy Flight Games. I recommend getting this set and a second core set and the expansions, and you can't go wrong there. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Until next time, GLHF. Good luck, have fun.